are taking a live look over the city of Jackson. Jackson College is hoping to establish a new police and law enforcement training academy to address Michigan's growing public safety shortage. State Representative Kathy Schmaltz and Jackson College President Dr. Dan Fallon testified in the House Appropriations Subcommittee last month to present the proposal. If approved, the school would renovate an existing building on campus to turn it into a modern academy with classroom instruction and physical training. Jackson College will put up $4 million of its own money, but needs about $2.5 million from the state. The president testified that it would be worth the investment.
Bring this request forward because we genuinely believe there's a need. It is real. The regional demand is sustainable, and the opportunity to strengthen Michigan's law enforcement pipeline while helping prepare individuals to serve with professionalism, integrity, and sound judgment and courage is both timely and important.
Jackson College previously operated a police academy, but it was discontinued in 1985 due to financial